Emisión.net.
Hello again and welcome to Letter from England, broadcasting for AC Press and the Spanish Evangelical Alliance. This week's audio broadcast, No Cross Please, We're British and Biased, looks at the implications of the decision by British Airways to suspend a Christian employee who wouldn't remove a cross on a necklace that she wears, and also the admittance by the BBC that they are in fact biased against Christians. The situation comes against a backdrop of the debate over the Muslim veil, provoked by a government minister, at least in its latest form, the general cultural milieu of multiculturalism, and the place of faith, or the non-place of faith, as some would like to see it, in the public arena. The decision by British Airways to suspend Nadia Aweda, a Christian of Egyptian background, from work because she refuses to take off her necklace has sparked a row. Mainly because it seems that there's one rule for Christians and another rule for those of other religious beliefs who are allowed to wear religious symbols. British Airways claim that the very modest cross at the end of her necklace should remain hidden, and her refusal to hide it contravenes their jewellery regulations for staff uniform. However, many people, and indeed even in the secular media, have taken up Aweda's case, believing that British Airways are not exactly operating a level playing field as far as Christians are concerned. This comes, of course, as part of a wider debate in British society at present as to the role of religious belief in general, and particularly the whole Christian and Muslim debate and situation worldwide. Aweda, as I said, comes originally from Egyptian stock, and the Coptic Church in Egypt, of course, has been the victim of much discrimination and violence perpetrated against it by Muslim radicals there in Egypt, and indeed the government has not always been particularly friendly or helpful to that large and well-established historical community there. The cross, then, is a potent symbol for Christian Copts, or Coptic Christians, and it's important for Aweda to wear it. That's not necessarily the case for many British Christians, and this has been part of British Airways' argument that the Bible doesn't actually command people to wear a cross, which of course is true. But are they treating all religious faiths in the same way? Well, in the light of comments from the BBC, one wonders, of course, this is a different situation altogether, but against the same cultural and religious backdrop. The BBC have admitted that they are in fact biased against Christians, biased in favour particularly of Muslims and of homosexuals, and of the general political correctness agenda. Well, that's no news to Christians. We've known that for years. But it is a relief, perhaps, that the BBC has finally recognised that, and we wait to see what, if any, effect this will have on their attitudes, on their programming, and on the way that they deal with Christianity in particular in the modern world and in modern Britain. There is clearly a bias against Christianity, despite the fact that Britain remains constitutionally and officially a Christian country with a state church, the Church of England. The tragedy there is that so often the Anglican leadership itself doesn't actually promote a clear statement in orthodox biblical Christianity and a belief in the Bible and so on, leaving politicians and the media to flounder somewhat if they want to find out what genuine Christianity is all about. However, that's no excuse for the biased treatment of Christians or of Christianity in general. And yet I think there's a great opportunity here for Christians. The British Airways employee case and the admittance of BBC bias both put Christian faith and Christians in the spotlight. And there's a great opportunity for evangelicals in particular to state clearly, graciously but firmly, what we believe and why we believe it. Christmas is coming once again, and undoubtedly there will be clashes with councils who will do their utmost to remove or refuse to portray any Christian symbols at Christmas. A bizarre decision, but one that we've seen over many years or several years now. So there's an opportunity once again to preach the message of the Son of God incarnate, of Jesus made man, coming to the earth to save sinful men and women from a lost eternity and bringing them into a relationship with a loving God. That's the true message of the Christian gospel, one in which Nadia Ueda is being emboldened by God to proclaim, one in which Christians in the BBC will also take heart at this admittance of bias and perhaps take heart at the greater opportunities that may come their way to stand for Christ, and indeed for all of us who believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, to proclaim clearly what we believe in modern pagan Britain. Thank you for listening to A Letter from England, broadcasting on emission each week. Goodbye for now.
Emisión.net